Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimadbhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 8, Dhruva Maharaj, leaves home?
Yep.
Dhruva Maharaj leaves home for the forest. We're on text 2. Vishadharmasya Bharyashid Dambam Mayam Cha Shutrahan Sutta Matudam Tattu Nritir Jagare Prajaha Vishadharmasya Bhayashi Sid Dambam Mayam Cha Shutrahan Sutta Mitunam Tattu Nritir Jagrihe Prajaha. Please chant. Word by word translation. Mrisha. Dharmasya. Of irreligion. Bharya. Wife. Asit. Was. Dambam. Bluffing. Mayam. Cheating. Cha. And. Shatruhan. O slayer of enemies. Asuta. Produced. Matunam, combination. Tat, that. Tu, but. Nriti. Chagre, took. Prajaha, being childless. Translation. Another son of Lord Brahma was irreligion, whose wife's name was falsity. From their combination were born two demons named Damba, or bluffing, and Maya, or cheating. These two demons were taken by a demon named Nriti, who had no children. Purport. It is understood herein that Adharma, irreligion, was also a son of Brahma, and he married his sister, Mrisha. This is the beginning of sex life between brother and sister. This unnatural combination of sex life can be possible in human society only where there is adharma, or irreligion. It is understood that in the beginning of creation, Brahma created not only saintly sons like Sanaka, Sanatan, and Narada, but also demonic offspring like Nriti, Adharma, Damba, and falsity. Everything was created by Brahma in the beginning. Regarding Narada, it is understood that because his previous life was very pious, and his association very good, he was born as Narada. Others were also born in their own capacities, according to their backgrounds. The law of karma continues birth after birth. And when there is a new creation, the same karma comes back with the living entities. They are born in different capacities according to karma, even though their father is originally Brahma, who is the exalted qualitative incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnanitavarandasya Gananjana Shavakaya Chakshulan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Kam Kaditavachalam Pangam Langaite Girim Yakripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Ancha Kaptribhishcha Kripasindabhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauda Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'll read it again. Another son of Lord Brahma was irreligion, whose wife's name was falsity. From their combination were born two demons named Damba or bluffing and Maya or cheating. These two demons were taken by a demon named Nriti, who had no children. So they say that one man's food is another man's poison. I'm just going to give it to somebody. Thank you. So one man's food is another man's poison, and so yeah, this is interesting because what one person does could be considered sinful and wrong and just irreligious. And the same activity somebody else doing is considered good and normal. Like, for example, if there's a renunciant, if there's a renunciant in any, well, specifically in the culture of Krishna consciousness we're talking about, but in any culture, if a real renunciate, if there's a renunciate and somebody sees him walking and talking intimately with a woman, and whatever they're staying in a resort in the same room, or they're walking on the beach, or they're going shopping, that's considered sinful, dharmic, just wrong, and everybody will think that. But a householder, oh, big deal. I mean, he's walking on the beach with a woman. Oh, it's his wife. I mean, if it wasn't his wife, it was someone else, it'd be a problem, obviously. But if it's a woman, nonetheless, a woman, his wife, namely, he's walking on the beach with her. He's going shopping with her. He's staying in the same room. Oh, big deal. Nobody cares, because it's normal. It's within, of course, within reason. It's in the realm of dharma. So one man's food is another man's poison, and so this is interesting. But of course, there are certain things that are just absolutely wrong and sinful. Just like here, it's said that Lord Brahma had some sons, right? He married his sister. Adharma married his sister Mrisha. And then Prabhupada says this is the beginning of sex life between brother and sister. This unnatural combination of sex life can be possible in human society only where there is a dharma or irreligion. So, for people to be, first of all, indiscriminately engaged in illicit affairs, sexual relationships, is considered adharmic. But especially within one's own family, that's considered 100% absolutely dharmic. And this Prabhupada criticized quite a lot, this idea of indiscriminate sexual connections with anyone and everyone. He would compare it to a society of dogs, or a society of hogs, specifically because hogs, it's indiscriminate. They engage in sex indiscriminately. But aside from indiscriminately engaging in sexual life, the more one can have control of their senses, which includes the mind, the more one is living on the human platform, and the more one can actually fulfill the goal of human life. If one is completely whipped around by their senses and mind, then they can't attain the goal of life. Just like our great Acharya says, right, Madhavendra Puri says, Kama dinam katina katida palita dornideshas tesham jata mayna kruna natrapa nobashanti utsrijaitan adiyapate sampratam labdi buddhist twamayata sharanamabhaya mam nukshat midase. And in essence what he's saying is, so long I've surrendered, I have tried to fulfill these uncontrollable lusty desires of my senses, these hellish desires, which brought me no peace. And now I'm rejecting, as Dravida Prabhu's English poetry says, I'm rejecting these hellish desires because my intelligence has awoken, and now I'm going to you, Krishna, please give me service at your lotus feet. So we cannot satisfy our material desires. It just doesn't work because it just keeps on increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing. And the more we try to fulfill them, the more it increases. Just like a fire, putting ghee on the fire. Right when you put ghee there, the fire goes down, but then it grows stronger. So we cannot fulfill. And there's a shloka in I don't know the Sanskrit, but in the commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the Bhagavad Gita, he says that a man could have all the gold in the world, all the grains in the world, and all the women in the world, and still he will not be satisfied. So if you think about all the gold in the world, and these days you think all the money, the green paper bills, right? Or you may not even see the green paper bills, it just might be numbers in the bank account that you look on online or something. If you had all the money in the world, if we had all the money in the world at our disposal, and then all the grains, which means all the first class, right, organic grains and food and this and that, and all the women. Think about, all the women, that's a lot of women. It's millions or billions of women. Still, a person wouldn't be satisfied. So, and ultimately, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, and as Dravida Prabhu was quoting him yesterday, that this absorption in sense gratification just produces fear, ultimately. Because at the time of death, when one is can be tested at the time of death, and even throughout one's life, if one is too absorbed in sense gratification, it just produces fear, because we don't really know who we are, and we're afraid of death, and so on. And as he was also quoting yesterday, Dravida Prabhu, he was quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur, saying that it steals away one's interest in the goal of life. Because if one is too absorbed in this material world, then it's very difficult to think of Krishna. And ultimately one loses interest. Because if a person's trying to enjoy separately from Krishna this world, that means Krishna, best if Krishna's not there, right? If we want to enjoy separately, best if he's not there. So the amount of, you could say, degradation that a soul has a potential for, that an individual has a potential for, is quite low. We could go really, really far down. But of course, we could also rise very high. So it's interesting here. We have this one son of Brahma. He's he's just he's a demon. That's what it says here, rascal demon, and doing all types of horrible things, dharmic things. And then we have sons like Sanaka, Sanatan, Narada, who are also sons. So, in Narada, apparently Prabhupada's son, I'm not sure which, that one of his sons that became, it's like living on the streets in Calcutta, and I forgot his name. Yeah, maybe Mathura Mohan. So he met devotees, and he told devotees, means Prabhupada disciples, he told them that you have parents like, Hiranyakashipu, right? In other words, demonic parents. But you became like, what is it? You became like Prahlad. And I have a father like, what do you say? Yeah. Yeah. So we may have the greatest father or mother, or we may not. But whatever the case is, we could go in this way or that way. Means we could elevate ourselves or degrade ourselves. So the example is given in Narada Muni, and he is the son who was a devotee, a great devotee, is a great devotee. And it says here, regarding Narada, it is understood that because his previous life was very pious and his association very good, he was born as Narada. So we all know the story, or the historical account, though, that Narada Muni, before he was Narada Muni, he was a young boy, and he was living with his mother, who was a maidservant, had a very high birth. And the Chaturmasya came, the 4-month rainy season, and the Bhaktivedantas stayed with him and his mother. And then when they came, Narada Muni, or before the young boy, he was serving them. He was hearing from them about Krishna. He was probably washing some clothes, doing things like that. And also he was taking their remnants, what they left. So it said by that association, he developed the same qualities as them, namely attraction to Krishna. He developed Krishna consciousness. And then his mother passed away. She died from a snake bite, and then he left home. So, and it said that he saw Krishna. He had a vision of Krishna. Now this isn't a vision like, somebody's been on a cocaine binge for last 5 days, and then he sees God. And whatever. But this is a complete real vision here of Krishna. And Krishna, so he appears there, and then of course the boys in ecstasy seeing his Lord, and then Krishna, he says, you will not see me again in this life. And then he just disappeared. So then in his next life he became Narada Muni, the great transcendental, Prabhu say, or devotees would probably say, transcendental spaceman traveling all over. And he is specifically empowered with this bhakti shakti, the ability to inspire and the ability to create many wonderful disciples, such as Prahlad Maharaj, and also Narada Muni, Dhruva Maharaj. We're in this chapter now. So we'll see later that Dhruva Maharaj appears to Narada Muni appears to Dhruva Maharaj later, when Dhruva Maharaj is in the forest. So, such a great personality. So yeah, we have to be careful that who we associate with and what we associate with and how we associate with them is in a good nature, means in a good way, and then we'll get the benefit. I mean, then in this life and especially in our next life, it will be better, or it will be in the spiritual world. So, so yeah, it's just as the sons here. You had good examples, good examples, bad examples. So we have that free will also to either be good boys or bad boys. Say it in that way. Means to surrender to Krishna or to not surrender to Krishna. So does anyone have any, yes? Yes, yes, that's true. Hmm. Yeah. It's close by. It's just right there. The bar is just right there. Yeah. Where, so. Hmm. Interesting. Beer? Ginger beer? They milk ginger beer out of the local Sprouts. Some of them out of the government. Huh? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, we're trying to understand your mood, so but are you in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj? Is that a correct understanding? Prabhupada said yes. Somebody's trying to deliver these people.
Prahlad Maharaj was born in Asura family into a calf, and they extracted various kinds of liquor and beer, which they put into a pot made of iron. How that exactly works?
What's the context of that verse again?
The context is that when
You want to get this?
Pitu came into power, so to speak, the whole thing with Bina, the earth wasn't giving any grain. She had stopped because of all of the sins of Bina. So Pitu was chastising the earth and threatening the earth, you better start giving. So this is one of the means in which they did it, is that the demigods, and here Indra became a calf, and the different exalted personalities became different kinds of calves, and then they got all of these different supplies. So the demons wanted to have some beer for their supply, so I didn't read the purple.
Amazing, no? What is that called? Like wish-fulfilling cow, right? That is very interesting. Yeah, somehow or other I glossed over that text too.
Yeah, but it's not in the Prahlad pastime, it's in the Preeti pastime, right? In the third canto, or?
Fourth canto.
Jai. Krishna. All right, Kantra Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai.